Yeah. Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
And it's day 2 of our Pippi Lota Delicatessa Window Shade Macaroman Ephraim's daughter's Longstocking story. She has such a good name.
没错，我们今天要继续介绍长袜皮皮他的故事。那我们在昨天的时候简单的介绍一下作者还有他的创作背景，还有皮皮的外形啦、个性啦，以及当初在瑞典的时候，他的这个书的畅销量真的是非常非常亮眼的成绩哦。
Yeah, Sweden's rebel sweetheart, and we're going to talk more about why she's a rebel today. Yesterday we talked more about who is Pippi Longstocking. Today we're going to learn why she's the rebel sweetheart.
我们今天要更加的去了解到说她为什么是叛逆女孩的这种典范跟这种先驱哦，而且她到底对这个瑞典的文化造成什么样重大的影响，我们今天就会知道。
So before we begin paragraph 1, we need to talk about a happy accident. So yesterday we learned that Astrid Lindgren first invented Pippi Longstocking stories in 1941, but she only wrote them down in 1945.
OK， 所以接下来我们要去讲的这个故事呢，就是跟这个作者 Astrid Lindgren 有关的。他当初呢是1941年的时候，他写下了这些故事，但事实上到1945年这个故事才出版的。
So Astrid fell one year and she hurt her ankle and she had to just lay in bed. This was before the internet. This is before cell phones. And in 1945, in World War II, TVs were hard to get. So there was nothing to do for her. So she wrote out her stories and she sent them into writing contests and she won second place. The next year, she sent them out again. This time, she got first place and they made her books.
OK， 所以他告诉你他的故事创作呢，其实这样。当初呢，他在冰上滑倒了，摔了一跤，然后从腿摔断了，腿受伤了 ，ankle 他的这个脚踝受伤了，他就必须在床上。在当时你可以想到1945年的时候，那时候是刚好1941到1945是还在打这第二次世界大战的时候嘛，对不对？那时候你也没有什么电视，更不要说现在的网络啊，什么都没有。所以在这个生病在床的情况之下，他就想说，那我可以做些什么？就写了这些故事。到后来呢，他把这些故事拿去投稿。第一次参加这种比赛的时候，写作比赛的时候，他得了第2名。第2次的时候呢，他得了第1名。然后第1名的话，也得到了这种出书的机会。
If she didn't fall in that ice, maybe she never would have written those stories down.
所以说今天如果他没有在冰上摔倒的话呢，其实也没有机会写下这些故事，那真的是一个非常好的 happy accident.
Yes, it is. Let's continue. Paragraph 1. Pippi has had an incredible impact on Swedish culture too.
好，接下来告诉你呢，他就讲到第一段了，他说了 Pippi has had an incredible impact on Swedish culture too. 就像我们刚刚所提到的，这个 Pippi Longstocking 出来了之后，其实影响了非常非常多的这个瑞典的文化。
So our next sentence is a really good one. She was one of the first characters to challenge the conventional ways girls were supposed to act.
好，第二句话告诉你怎么个影响法呢？他就说了 ，She was one of the first characters. 好 to challenge the conventional way girls were supposed to act. 在以往当时的时候，女生的这种角色其实都固定好了，基本上你就是可能像我们以往的传统古代的女性就是3从4德不要女子无才便是德，所以很多时候对女子的角色设定跟框架都一直在那个地方，而Pippi Longstocking 她居然是 one of the first characters， 她是第一个会去挑战这些权威，说挑战这些社会的框架，说女生就应该怎么样。第一个挑战的角色她是其中之一，就是 Pippi Longstocking。
So we have this be supposed to act. It's a passive voice. And 就是别人告诉你你应该要怎么样，你期待你做什么。Like you were supposed to do your homework. You didn't do it. Yesterday we had a really good sentence. It's an active voice sentence. So she lives totally free of society's expectations. 比这个 sentence challenge the conventional ways girls were supposed to act. And that's also right in the first paragraph. So I would highlight this sentence. And then when you have free time, 看住天的那个第一句那边 and underline that free of society's expectations. These are two really good ways to say the same idea.
没错，如果是挑战传统框架啦，不受社会道德规范的束缚啦，或是那种传统对于女性角色的这种束缚等等，然后有2种很好的说法。这边的话是一种，在昨天我们有提到这个 live free of society's expectations， 你要找到那句话，把它画起来，以后你在表达这个观念的时候就很好用，很多东西可以选择让你去讲。
Our next sentence says, she never wore makeup, 一个单词, and even made fun of adults who cared more about outward appearance than personal values, which I do too.
OK， 好哦，继续说啊 ，She never wore makeup， 她从来都不化妆的 ，and even made fun of adults， 她也会去嘲笑那些成人。那些成人会做什么事情呢 ？Who cared more about outward appearance。than personal values， 他说这些成人都往往会更在意自己的外表，而非去在意说，一个人他本身的价值观念。这种人的话就被他狠狠的修理跟嘲笑。
So you care more about A than B. We can just flip these two. Maybe 你比较关心 these personal values. So I care more about personal values than outward appearance.
Outward appearance 就是我们的外在外表嘛。Personal value 这个地方特别注意一下，这个 value 加了 s 之后就会变成价值观。好，也就是说，今天 your belief about what's right and wrong， 好，这种情况就是你的价值观，加了 s 之后才会变成价值观。如果没有 s 的话，就是什么东西的价值哦。
It's no wonder she became such a role model in Sweden's movement for equal rights for women.
好，当你说 it's no wonder 后面接一个句子，我们记得好像之前有讲过一个 no wonder 怎样怎样，难怪如何如何。It's no wonder 也是差不多的这种概念哦。It's no wonder she became such a role model. What is a role model？ 就是我们的榜样或是一个模范、一个楷模的感觉。难怪它会变成那个 Sweden 的楷模。In Sweden's movement for equal rights for women， 好，对于女性在这个瑞典推动平权运动的时候，它会变成一个典范、一个楷模，供大家仿效。
Pippi was a true pioneer in the sense for girls who dreamed of being more than housewives.
好，所以他最后就告诉你说了 ，Pippi was a true pioneer。Pioneer 常被翻译成先驱者。如果别人都没做过事情，你跑去先做，先冲看，冲第一波，那你就是一个 pioneer。然后呢 ，in this sense， 在这方面，他就是一个先驱者。For girls who dreamed of being more than housewives， 对于女生不想只甘于做家庭主妇的女性来说，皮皮她就这样做，她就是一个先驱者。
Just like Antony said, a pioneer is usually the first person to go to an area. We talked about the Matsu pilgrimage earlier this month, and the first people the settlers that went to the place we call Taichung, they were pioneers because no one else lived there. But a pioneer actually used to mean the soldiers that would run way up front in the battlefield and dig holes to protect yourselves. Those guys had to go to very dangerous places because they were the first soldiers. So you take out your arrow and shoot at them.
所以说今天 pioneer 这个字本来的意思是在这个军队里面，在战场当中呢，有第一批先头部队先到前面去，先去挖战壕。然后老师刚刚讲说，那通常都是变成弓箭手的靶子，在上面一直射，对不对？所以第一批去很危险的，第一批去到了危险境地去挖战壕的这些人就叫 pioneers.
Don't do that job.
Oh, so bad.
Let's get ready for paragraph 2. Welcome back to Enjoy English School. Before we begin paragraph 2, I just wanted to share a phrase I really like. So paragraph 1 said that Pippi Longstocking was a role model for Sweden's movement for equal rights for women.
没错，所以在这里面的话，在第一段里面不是有提过说，它变成了一个在瑞典推动平权运动女性平权运动的一个象征，一个楷模吗？
And so some men did not want equal rights for women because they said, well, women will take our jobs and our wages will be lower, we'll get a smaller salary.
当时呢就有一些比较保守的男性就会觉得说天哪，这样的话女性就会抢走我们的工作，会让我们工资变低等等诸如此类这样的论述。
But there's this great sentence that says, no, that's not true. The sentence is, men of quality don't fear equality.
好，这句话呢，就是老师要跟大家分享的。然后很多人他就为了反驳这种莫名其妙、荒唐的言论呢，有人就会讲说 ，man of quality 有品质的男人 don't fear equality 不会在乎说，哎，别人有跟你有平等的权利，因为其实基本上大家本来就应该是平等的。不然想说，哦，他会拿走我的工作，那是你自己可能不够好。真的有品质的人，他们不会在意说有一个平等的环境的。
I love that sentence. Let's continue here. Perhaps.In part due to Pippi's example, Sweden's parenting practices and child care policies are among the best in the world.
好，在第二段这个地方我们看到了 perhaps in part mean partially， 也许一部分呢是因为 due to Pippi's example， 也是因为 Pippi 这个 Longstocking 他的一个这个榜样的关系 ，Sweden's parenting practices 他们的育儿教养的这种方式 and child care policies， 好，就是他们还有在儿童保育方面的这种政策呢 ，are among the best in the world， 是在全世界里面做的数一数二，几乎是最好的。
In 1979, 不是1979, Sweden banned any physical punishment of children.
好，在1979年这一年呢，在这个瑞典，他们就已经严格订立说 banned， 意思就是指禁止后面的事情 ，any physical punishment of children， 禁止对儿童做体罚。
You know, in my classroom, not long ago, I had a student ask me, like, do you hit children? I'm like, why? Like, what? That's a crazy sentence. And like, why would I do that? And the kid pointed in my classroom. I have the stick that I use to point around so I can look at my children and din din 那个拜拜那个东西. And I guess it's like in Taiwan, it's a very common thing to hit children with. So
yeah.
我去文具店，我说哦这个很好用诶，我买这个。And the kids see it and they're like.
Oh,
like Chris is gonna hit me with this? Like, no, I just pointed out. Sorry. So yeah.
好可爱的故事。老师在讲说，他平常上课的时候，他会拿一个那个长长的，这样很方便指比较远的地方，让大家可以看得很清楚。说哦，我在讲这个，我在讲那个。可是那个长长的棍子呢，其实在我们的文化里面，常常会觉得说，像我以前小时候就是有被打过嘛。老师体罚的话，就拿板子啊。
I just thought it was cute. It was like orange. It had a big finger.
Yeah. 所以在这里的话，其实这个爱的小手有没有？其实老师以为只是拿来用指东西的，不，爱小手是拿来本来是在我们这边是惩罚小朋友，所以。小朋友看到他拿爱小手的时候，他就问他说：“老师，你会拿那个打我吗？”这样子，然后老师说：“为什么要拿这个打你？”
Yeah, no physical punishment in my classroom. 除了 the students hit me.
没有错。
Our next sentence says, in her stories, Pippi often showed that children are equal to adults and that they deserve kindness and respect.
好，在这句话里面，他就说 ，In her stories, Pippi often showed that， 他就常常展现出这件事情 ，Children are equal to adults。好，他们大人跟小孩其实应该是平等的 ，and that they 这边指的是 children deserve kindness and respect， 应该被善待，而且呢应该被尊重。所以我记得印象很深刻是在这个故事里面，好像曾经有看到，就是说，如果说今天这个大人就会要求小朋友说，你9点就给我到家，好，不能太晚回来。就他呢就是10点钟才到，然后到了之后呢，然后他说，你只有晚到了，就拿着棍子要准备等他，他就说。可是你们10点有到家的经验吧？那既然你们说那个在天父面前，在这个宗教里面人人平等，那为什么这时候就不平等呢？然后大人就哑口无言，就被他问倒了。所以他在这里面常常会有一些场景告诉你说，大人跟小孩应该是平等被对待的。
Our next sentence says, "It seems most people in Sweden would agree."
It seems most people in Sweden would agree. 感觉上大部分在瑞典的人都很同意这样的说法。
Today, even a mild spanking is very rare in the country.
时至今日呢，即便是小说我要打你屁股，就稍微打屁股呢，其实事实上都是很少见的情况。
So mild, another way to translate mild is 小辣. So if you're ordering food, maybe how much, 要多辣, how spicy do you want it? You can get it mild, medium, or hot. And so mild is very soft, but it also means like 小辣. So that for me, like I think that's an easy way to remember it.
Yeah, 没有错，就是那种微辣的，稍微的修理一下也是不行的。好，在这里的话还讲到 very rare， 就是很少见，在瑞典很少见用这种方式去对待孩子。
Let's get ready for paragraph 3. Welcome back. back to Enjoy English School. Let's finish up today with our final paragraph. Sweden isn't just great for kids, but for parents too.
好，在第3段告诉你说，哦，在瑞典不只是对儿童很好，对成人、对大人、对这些有孩子的人来说呢，也是很棒的哦。
This looks like that famous not only but also grammar.
在这边你看到这个 isn't just， 然后 but also， 就 not only but also， not only A but also B， 有的时候也可以用在这个句子里面。
Women can take leave from their job from the time they are 60 days pregnant and still receive 80% of their salary. Huh?
感觉不错，对不对 ？Women can take leave. When you say take leave， 就是请假。很多时候你会听到一些什么育婴假，像是 parental leave。parental 里面可能也包括 maternity leave， 就是指这个产假，女生的 maternity 就是 mother， 对不对？好的，好。那个 paternity leave 就是男生的是陪产假等等，这些东西都在 parental leave 里面，就是育婴假的意思。Can take leave from their jobs， 就能够去请产假或请育婴假等等。From the time they are 60 days pregnant， 当他们怀孕60天之后就开始请产假。And still, the best part is here.And still receive 80% of their salary. 在请产假的过程当中，居然还可以领80%的薪水哦。
So when we take leave, we can take a break, but we still want to come back. This doesn't mean we quit our job. This means I'm going away for a short time, but I will come back. That's my plan. Okay. Now the word salary. Boy, I love this word sal. S-A-L means salt.And this is actually a really old word. Of course, your salary, 你的薪水, it just means every month we will give you this much money. But why does it mean salt? Well, Rome used to pay their soldiers in salt because it was the most important thing you could have. If you had salt, you could trade it for eggs, or you could trade it for clothes, or a haircut, or a house. Salt was the most important thing.Because people didn't have refrigerators, and salt kept your food fresh.
所以是这样子，所以在这边的话，你看注意一下 salary 这个字最开头的3个字 S-A-L， 它其实原本的意思是 S-A-L-T salt 就是盐巴的意思。那为什么盐巴会变成这个月薪你的这个薪水呢？老师刚才讲到说，在罗马时期的时候，当初他要这个国家要付给这个军队薪饷的时候，他们是用盐巴，因为这个盐巴呢，它可以拿来当做货币使用，可以换鸡、换鸭、换蛋啊，换一些日常生活用品。而当时的时候是没有冰箱的，所以说这个盐巴也可以用来保存食物，可以变得是当地流通的货币，所以也就是薪水的意思了。
Yeah, it's really. In fact, when you look at maps of Europe, anytime you see S-A-L, that means Roma 的时候，他们发现了这边有盐巴。
是这样子哦。
Salisbury in England, lots of in England you see a lot of it. Sal. That meant in Rome.They knew there was salt.
原来如此，所以这个 S-A-L 有很多地名变成有 sal 的话，就是在这个地方发现盐巴了，所以才会用 sal 这个地方来命名当地的这个地理位置，这样子。
That's right. Let's continue. After the baby arrives, women and men can take 480 days of leave. That's awesome.
他说等到这个孩子出生了之后呢 ，women and men 不管是男生女生双亲呢 ，can take 480 days of leave， 他可以请480天的这种假期，所以差不多是1年多的时间，可以在家里陪孩子，慢慢陪孩子养大他们。
All health care for kids is free too until they turn 20.
好棒哦 ！All healthcare for kids is free too。所有对小孩的这些这种我们常常讲 healthcare 就是那种健康保险啦，或者健康的这种医疗照护啦，直到他们满20岁之前，都是由国家来负担的。
It's certain that Pippi would be very proud.
好 ，it's certain that 就是后面这件事情是肯定的。Pippi would be very proud， 意思就是说，今天如果 Pippi 知道说他其实对这个瑞典文化可能造成了这么大的影响，造成这么多好的方面的这种改变的时候，他一定会觉得，我真骄傲。
So just before we go to vocabulary review, let's look at the previous sentence. All healthcare is free too. So we can see in this sentence that healthcare, just healthy and like take care of somebody. This is an uncountable noun. 它是不可数名词 because we have is right here, right?
没错，在这句话特别注意一下 all healthcare 这个地方，因为后面接的是 is， 你就知道说这个地方 healthcare 就是指不可数的一个名词，它都永远是单数的。
All right, let's get ready for vocab review. Let's jump right into vocab review today. Number 1 is from yesterday. To be free of expectations.
To be free of expectations 就是指去不受后面这种期待的束缚，通常是 society's expectations.
And today we said to challenge conventional ways.
To challenge conventional ways 就是去挑战传统的观念，尤其是看待女生该扮演什么角色这样的观念。
Our next word today is a pioneer.A
pioneer 就是先驱者，第一个去做什么事情的人。
Our next word is banned or to ban.
To ban 就是指去禁止或者是什么东西被禁了，就是 banned, B-A-N-N-E-D， 记得重复字尾 N 哦。
Next is to deserve something.
To deserve something 就是应该获得什么什么东西。
And our next one is a really common word, pregnant.
Pregnant 就是指怀孕的。
All right, well, that is all the time we have for today. I really hope you like this because I think Pippi Longstocking is pretty awesome, honestly. And check it out. It's not really hard to read in English. For Enjoy English School, I am Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
We'll check you out next time. See you then.
Bye-bye.
第24页专题特写，淘气女孩长袜皮皮。
Pippi Longstocking, Sweden's rebel sweetheart. Pippi has had an incredible impact on Swedish culture, too. She was one of the first characters to challenge the conventional way girls were supposed to act. She never wore makeup and even made fun of adults who cared more about outward appearance than personal values. It's no wonder she became such a role model in Sweden's movement for equal rights for women. Pippi was a true pioneer, in this sense, for girls who dreamed of being more than housewives. Perhaps in part due to Pippi's example, Sweden's parenting practices and child care policies are among the best in the world. In 1979, Sweden banned any physical punishment of children. In her stories, Pippi often showed that children are equal to adults and that they deserve kindness and respect. It seems most people in Sweden would agree. Today, even a mild spanking is very rare in the country. Sweden isn't just great for kids, but for parents too. Women can take leave from their jobs from the time they are 60 days pregnant and still receive 80% of their salary. After the baby arrives, women and men can take 480 days of leave. All health care for kids is free too until they turn 20. It's certain that Pippi would be very proud.